Good morning. How is everyone today? Okay, I'm going to take it off. This is a mask that I made for my husband and for some of my family members who are in the healthcare field. And it has a little pocket in the back so they can put their N95 in there, or you can put a filter in there if you have a filter, like a HEPA filter. But folks, I've had a lot of people asking me if I was going to sell masks, put them in my shop, and I really hadn't planned on it. But yesterday when I went to go pick up my order from Joann's, which I'll tell you about that experience in a minute, on the way home, as I'm walking up the walk to come into the house, there is this message from Etsy that came. And I looked down, happened to start to read it. Walked in the door, my husband's sitting there, and I said, "Crap's about to hit the fan." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, Etsy just put out a call for all makers to make masks." And he goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I got a feeling that the CDC and the federal government are going to suggest everyone go out with a basic face mask." He goes, "No." So I put my things down, take my jacket off, sit down, open the email. It's all about coming forward and helping the community and keeping the community. And I'm like, Now where's the part where Etsy's going to drop all its fees? Not there. And as I'm reading the email to my husband, and it's a pretty short email, he's already on Etsy looking. He says, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe what they're charging." I said, "Well, I know that one guy, yesterday when I was looking, there was only one guy that had face mask, really." I said, he was charging, if I remember correctly, for 20 masks, $147. He goes, "Oh no, that guy's now got 10 masks for $142, and they're just the basic mask." He goes, "There's a lot of people on here that are charging crazy prices." He says, "You know that ninja mask you were telling me about this morning?" He calls it the ninja mask. I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm seeing those, $14 to $30 a piece." I said, "Seriously?" And he's showing me these pictures, and I'm like, those are stock photos. I mean, most of them are stock photos that they've taken off the internet for that type of mask. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "There are some people that are charging, like $6, $5. I said, "Are they specialized masks?" And he goes, "No, they're just basic, what I would call surgical masks. Some of them have elastic, some of them have ties." I said, "Oh, okay." And I'm thinking, a basic surgical mask is 2 layers of fabric. And you kind of know the size. This is a little larger size, so it goes up a little further around with the pocket. And then it has the wire for the nose, so you can bend it around the nose. He said, "You just can't believe this." I said, "How did some of these people get on this so fast?" Because yesterday when I was looking, there wasn't, anything like that. He goes, "I don't know." And we just kind of giggled about it. Okay, no big deal. But then I started getting all these dings, messengers, text messages from friends and family, other family members. And like, "Are you making masks? Can you send me some?" And a couple of friends that I'm making masks for, I'm like, okay, I'll make you some mask. And, she didn't want for her, she wanted for her son's girlfriend who is going through chemo. I'm like, yeah, okay. Can you cover the cost of the fabric? No big deal. So bags are kind of off for a while, and there's two reasons, and they're crazy reasons. You can't get interfacing. It's really hard to come by. My online sources, and I have a great source, she's telling me orders are backed up like crazy, you wouldn't believe. She said it's going to be like 2-3 weeks before she gets her order in order to get me my order. And I'm generally okay with that because, sometimes it happens. But then I'm like, I can get it at Walmart or Joann's. No. Of course, it's higher price there, but no, can't. So, and if you're trying to find elastic, you can't get elastic. Um, I usually use a 1/2 inch braided elastic, and I buy these big rolls that come about like this, and, they had hundreds of yards on them, some of them, of this elastic, and I use a braided elastic. And the reason I use braided is because if you need to make it smaller, you can cut it. Some of the other ones, like the no roll and those other kinds, can't really cut it. It kind of frays and doesn't look good. But the reason, I can use those for the catheter bags that I make for some of the nursing homes. And I do that free of charge, with the exception of now they buy me the elastic instead of me buying it, all the time. So, because you can cut it and make it smaller. You can't find elastic. I have gone through my source of elastic. It's what I had that I used when I was making fetal demise gowns. Um, I had 2 or 3 boxes. I've already gone through all of that for healthcare workers making these pocket masks. So husband and I were discussing it, and I will be making masks. I will be adding them to the shop. But it's going to be, there won't be choices of fabric. It's basically going to be, tell me whether it's female, male, child, female, child, male, so I can kind of pick colors the right way. And most of the masks that you're going to see are going to be just a basic mask that has a couple of folds. It may have elastic, it may have hair ties. I do have some hair ties. And my husband went out and bought me a couple more packages of hair ties. So they will be a basic mask that has fabric on the outside, flannel on the inside, so the flannel is against your face. They won't be lined, interfaced, because you can't get interfacing. But they will do for most of the people that are going out, because basically those masks are designed so that if you are a carrier, you're not giving it out to anyone else. They give you a certain line of defense. It's not, you can't say that it'll keep you from getting COVID-19, but it'll give you a little bit of a ability. But here's the catch. Once you've used that mask for the day, and you don't want to use it multiple times in multiple areas, in other words, if you have put that mask on and gone into Walmart, you take that mask off, and then you go into, say, Dollar General, you put that mask back on, you're kind of defeating the purpose. So, kind of need to have more than one mask, and you need to wash them in between. And I'm going to tell you, if you are buying masks, there is a way that you can, it's not really sterilize, but it's semi-sterilize your mask. And that is actually to take a extremely hot iron with steam to your mask to press it. So we will be adding mask, and it'll be a basic. You won't get a choice of fabric, those kind of things, because I'm training my husband to cut fabric today so I can sew while he's cutting. Scary, guys. Now I'll tell you about my trip to Joann's yesterday to get my fabric. I had ordered fabric online because I wanted a specific fabric, and I knew I was going to go in and buy flannel, just extra flannel, because my store is open. They do have an exception since they sell fabric and supplies to make masks. So they, you know, they have an exception so you can go in. So I got my fabric and, everything I needed. And I had asked, told her what I needed of each yard, of the extras, because I was looking for different prints and just getting some basic flannel. And they have you standing 6 feet away from the cutting table, which is understandable. You put them down and then you step back to the line. You tell her what you need. She cuts it. She pushes it forward. You step forward, grab your stuff as she steps back. No big deal. I'm sitting there and there's a couple comes in. They're asking for interfacing. And she tells her we don't have any. And they don't. Their little rows, racks along the top of the, where they keep the fabrics, completely empty. And the couple said, well, we were told we need to interface these. And she said, no, you just need a fabric that is very dense, And I told him, I said, if you can't get that, you could try a real thin felt, if it's for you. You could use vacuum cleaner bags that are HEPA. For them, they were needing it for allergies and, and also because the husband is compromised. So I'm telling them, you can use that. And we're, kind of talking back and forth, standing 6 feet apart. And they go, well, is there any elastic? She goes, if we have any, we did have a truck come in, and they've emptied out the boxes last night. She said, if there's anything left, it'll be in the back, with the elastics. And she said, other than that, a lot of people are using the beading, and it's something that a lot of people use for scrapbooking. It's kind of a rolled type cord, and a lot of people use it in scrapbooking when they're making, little books or journals. So she said, okay, how would I use that? And I told her basically the same thing. The only thing you want to do is tie a knot when you sew it in, which will give it a little more from possibly slipping out between your stitches and, go back and forth quite a few times over your stitches. And the lady thanked me for that information. I go back to the elastic because I know what I'm looking for. I know what I need. And I plan on getting just 2 rolls, 2 small packages. And there's this lady down there kneeling, looking at the elastic. She's touching her face. She goes back and forth between the elastics. She's reading them all. And, I'm standing back 6 feet. And she says to me, well, you can come on in. You don't have to wait on me. I said, no, I'll wait till you're through. And she said, you know, I don't know the differences between the elastic. I said, well, what are you using it for? Because, you know, people buy elastic for other things. She pulls this mask out of her pocket and says, I'm making masks like this. I said, oh. And she said, but they don't have the size someone told me to get. I said, well, you know, you want a 1/4 inch, basically. She said, yeah, I know. I said, you really want the braided if you're going to cut down the other sizes. Because they did have other sizes of elastic. She said, oh, you can cut them down? I said, yeah. The braided elastic has grooves. You can cut down the braided elastic. I've done it many times for other projects. And I said, if you can hold it tight enough, you can use a rotary cutter. If not, you want to use a pair of scissors and not your fabric scissors. Oh, well, what about this, you know, no roll stuff and this other one? I said, well, you could use those, but she looks at me, she goes, what do you mean, but? I said, well, if you cut those, you kind of have to take a flame all along the edge to seal it. I said, and it kind of frays, doesn't look good if you're using it, you know, around the ears. Oh, okay. So she picks up, you know, 2 braided. They were 1/4 inch. She didn't go for the larger sizes because they had 2 packages of, you know, the 1/4 inch. And picks about 6 of the non-roll that she's got to take the flame to seal along the side to make it look decent. You know, and then she moves on. I come in, and they had inch is all they had of the braided. They had a couple of packages. The couple behind me was waiting, and she said, I'm glad you told me about cutting it. I said, okay. So I was looking for 2 packages, and that's all I got. I picked up 2. Yeah, I could have got more, but there's no reason for me to get more. So the couple, you know, I moved away. I said, okay, your turn. So they're come there, and we're all standing in line, 6 feet behind the lady that got the elastic at the cashier's. So she rings her up, and then the lady asks her, you know, the cashier, do you have any coupons? Oh, well, I have the app. So she has to tell her where to go on the app to look for it. But here's the deal. The lady never activated the account with the app, so she had to wait for the email to come to her email so she could open it up, activate the account to get coupons. She's doing that while the rest of us are waiting behind her. Now, mind you, back at the aisle with the elastic, she was there for 10, well, it's probably more than 10, but 10 minutes that I know of, while there are other people waiting, and she's picking and choosing. But of course, while she's at the cashier's, she wasn't wearing her mask back at the elastic, but she had her mask on at the cashier's desk. So we're waiting. The email takes about 10 minutes to get there. And then she has to figure out how to get the coupons. The lady's telling her where the coupons are. And of course, you know, because of social distancing, normally they would take your phone and pull it up, you know, but instead they're trying to tell you how to get the coupons on your phone app. It's taking this lady a little longer. Now I'm trying to be kind. Mind you, I've waited 10 minutes in the back. Took her a little more than 15 minutes in the front. She finally got her coupons, paid, and left. Now this cashier knows me very well. I've been in there quite often for many things. And I come up, and the first thing she says to me is tax exempt today because I buy for Pershaw. I said, no, it's personal. And I wasn't using my business account, you know. So she says to me, I am so sorry that took so long. And I said to her, that's okay. The lady didn't know what she was doing back there in the elastic aisle either. So, you know, and I said to her, the only other thing I would suggest to you is if that is happening more and more, that you would tell these people, cancel the transaction, hand them back their items, tell them to go back to the back of the line once they've activated the account and gotten the coupons up. Because it's not fair to the rest of us that are standing in line, having to stand there and wait so long. And she said, yeah, I have a hard time with that. I said, well, you're going to have to get a little stronger in these days that are coming. Tempers might be running short. And she goes, yeah, I've had a lot of that. I said, well, that's probably part of the reason. She's ringing me up because I have quite a stack. And I enter my coupons, we scan them, pay. I tell her I have the other pickup for the other fabric. She goes around, gets it, and as I'm walking towards the door, she hands it to me. I said, well, I was going to tell you could have tossed it at me and I'd catch it on the way out. You didn't want to get close. And she goes, no, I'm pretty okay with you. So, yeah, 25 minutes. When I could have been in there, much shorter. My cutting time was only about 10 minutes because the gal that was cutting is very good at it. And of course, on the way out, she was cutting kits for her face mask. So I picked up a kit. The couple behind me that were, questioning about the interfacing and I talked to, they picked up a couple so they could bring them back and donate. And that's the way they do it. They have a table set up for you to drop your finished mask off as well. And I've been doing that as I go. So, I could have been in there maybe 10, 15 minute stops. Instead, I was in there between 25 and 35 minutes. So, if you're going to the stores that are open for supplies, folks, be prepared. I already have the app up. I already have it activated. That's just good idea, because, the way that they tell you can text it and get an instant coupon, but you still have to set up your account and then wait for the email to confirm it. So, what I am telling you is, yes, I will be selling masks. Husband and I are trying to figure out prices because I basically just want to pay for the fabric and supplies. And my husband's trying to tell me, no, you need to get a few dollars extra for you for making them. And then the other thing is we have to figure out the Etsy fees since they are not discounting them. Husband and I are also thinking about doing the thing like Billy and Cheryl do, where you would email me if you want a mask. And, but I would wait till Monday because I will have some masks up Monday. I do have a mask that if you use fleece, you can tie it behind your head, or if I use the material with a flannel backing, you can use Velcro to put it around your face, and that is the one that my husband is calling a ninja mask. So I'm going to have a couple of different styles, and yeah. Figuring out these fees is ridiculous. But anyway, I just thought I'd give you a heads up what's going on. The crochet along and the knit along, I will be filming Monday afternoon for the crochet along on how to add sleeves. The knit along I'm still working on, getting to the point where I can add my sleeves. You can use that workshop number 2 for figuring out how to increase your bust if you needed to, or, um, for that part. So that's where we're at today. Hope everybody's staying safe. Now that the CDC and the government has said yes, everybody should have masks. There are a lot of us makers. A couple of us have been talking back and forth and doing prototypes and things like that for masks, getting them fixed a little bit better, because we have noticed that if your head is a certain size, you need to add extensions for the back of the ninja mask. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. Okay, folks, I'll see you soon. And everybody stay safe. Stay home if you can. Um, if your stores are still doing pickups, where you call in and order and can pick it up or order online, I would do that. I don't know if any of your Walmarts or stores have now put in gauntlets to get in. That's what we're calling them. My Walmart, no. Put a picture in a few minutes. At the very end, show you it. There's a gauntlet to go through to get in and out. So, yeah, be kind. It's getting harder and harder to be kind when we're short-tempered, isn't it? Yeah, be kind. Be kind to one another. Help one another all you can. And don't forget to call, check up on your folks. There are a lot of people that are doing Zooms. Sharon of Sharon's Crochet Corner. She has Zooms on Thursday and Fridays. And a lot of people are doing pop-up Zooms. So if you get a chance to, you can do some face-to-face socialization, or voice socialization, or typing socialization with people at the time. So keep that in mind too. All right, see you again soon. Bye.